Hi, I'm Morgan Hines in the PhocusWire studio with Mike Greene of Skylark and hospitality industry advisor Kristie Goshow. Welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Good morning.
So we're going to talk a lot about luxury travel today. So I'd love to start if you could both tell me what it means to have a luxury experience in terms of travel technology.
You want to start?
Happy to. Thank you for that's actually a tricky one to answer, and here's why. Because I think first we have to almost define what luxury is to then be able to answer that, and there's no one answer.
Okay.
Because luxury audiences, they vary greatly depending on level of maturity of that wealth, where they are hailing from across the planet, whether or not they're a solo traveler or traveling in a group, multi-generational, and where they sit in the luxury ladder. And I hear the term kind of luxury used a lot. And you have to ask yourself, well, what is it? Are we talking ultra high net worth individuals and luxury? Or are we talking aspirational luxury? So, I mean, generally speaking, people who are in the luxury segment, those consumers, my take is they're looking for technology to remove friction in their journeys and in their lives. And as a hospitality provider, you would be expected to make their lives better.
Yeah.
Because when they come and stay with us, they don't want that experience buttoned up, and they don't want it changed. They want the shoulders to drop. They want it to be their safe space.
Yeah.
So technology has to enable that,
Right.
not make it more frigid or scripted in
Okay.
any way. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that was really well said, Kristie. I think luxury means something different to every demographic and to every type of person, right? I think for me personally, I think it's all about personalization, anticipating needs, and hospitality, right? And that means something different to every single person. But, you know, it's about being proactive, having service, be super proactive about and attentive to what people need before they even know what they need. And technology can play a huge role in that. I think right now, technology is super helpful in terms of planning and giving recommendations. I think where the next frontier is being able to actually be proactive and anticipate those needs and get ahead of guest needs before they even know what they need, right? And I think that's still a ways away in terms of AI and technology.
Yeah.
How do you do that, Mike? How do you get the data in your agency world from the luxury consumer to the extent that you can think before they ask and be 1 to 2 steps ahead of them? It's like a great game of chess, isn't it? It's what is checkmate for them? And then what are the steps that you've got to put into place? How do you do that?
If you figure it out, let me know. I think it's really 2 buckets, right? One is data collection, which I think we're starting to do a better job of, and that's really it's a pre-arrival questionnaires from hotels and luxury hotels. How do we automate that? How do we onboard our members in a way that we really understand and can empathize with their needs and their wants? So that's part one. And then I think the next part of that is going to be, which we need to do a much better job of as an industry and also at Skylark ourselves, is once we have that data, how do we actually use that to get ahead of their needs? And, you know, I think one of the biggest misses in luxury hospitality that I always talk about is you can go to a hotel, be paying 1,500 euros a night, and you get to the room and there's a bottle of champagne, but you don't drink, right? It's just like, they don't know anything. They're trying to be nice. They're trying to do something special for you as an amenity, but in reality, it just shows that they know nothing about you. And I can talk all day about the distribution of kind of the data and how that gets sent to the hotels, but I think it's kind of like what technology can really help get us to the next level.
Right. Actually, can I add something to that? Because this is a really interesting conversation.
absolutely.
Me, having spent the last 20 plus years in hospitality, one of the challenges that we face is that the individual and the information we have on a party staying is based on one person and one profile. It's the person that made the booking.
Right.
And then I have to say to the teams, remember, there's probably another 2 or 3 people behind them. If they're coming in with a family, what do we know about the partner? What do we know about the kids? We are only actually taking information, a transaction, and having a relationship with the person that you see in the check-in process.
Sure.
Whereas you're doing the heavy lifting up front, which many luxury brands do through the more analog fashion, right? Which is tell us. Do you think AI is going to help leapfrog that?
It's a great question. Are you referring, when you say you only know about the primary guest data, are you referring mostly to agency bookings or more direct bookings? All bookings.
All
Yeah.
bookings, yeah.
I think AI could certainly help. I mean, it's all about asking the right questions. And if you can leverage technology and AI to ask questions about who will you be traveling with, are you with any kids, do you have special needs? I mean, a lot of the best luxury hotels are already doing that via email, either to the agent or directly to the guest. But it's a matter of, can AI help us so that they don't have to ask those questions every single time? Because at the end of the day, if you're traveling with your family, you're traveling with your family and you have the same preferences, you have the same needs. Obviously that could change trip to trip, but at the end of the day, like, the allergies are there, the preferences for certain types of wine, the need for a crib for your toddler, like those are pretty static.
Yeah.
So where does the balance come in then with that issue and beyond between tech involvement and human involvement, which enables that experience to a degree that it feels effortless to the traveler?
I think it's a fine line. I think at the end of the day, I'm a big proponent of tech. I'm a big proponent of AI, but I think in luxury hospitality and luxury overall, there's always going to be the need for human touch. There's always going to be the need for someone to anticipate your needs beyond the scope of technology. And I think what our clientele skews a generation younger than most luxury travel advisors. So our average age is about 41. And what I would say is that our demographic, our clients really want to be able to do it themselves, book online themselves, and if they have an issue, kind of text or email, but they want the ability to call an advisor who has expertise, who has connections at the hotel, and can actually help them out of a jam, which, you don't get that with major online travel agencies.
Yeah, and with luxury travel, to what degree is the luxury travel, and I understand it might vary by level, like you mentioned, to what degree do they prefer tech enablement? Like you said, some younger travelers are preferring to book online themselves. But at what point do they prefer tech, or do they prefer more hand-holding than the average traveler?
I'm going to say I think it depends on where the individual is in their comfort zone and even their wealth position.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. So the ultra high net worth individuals, like family offices and maybe exiting entrepreneurs, they are looking for brands who will be very protective with their identity and their information. They, in their own homes, may leverage technology heavily for everything. So they may have an expectation that I'm not going to use even a mobile key.
Right.
And certainly don't want to use a plastic key.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm comfortable with biometric.
Interesting.
Right? I check in.
Yeah.
You take a single read of my eyeball. And then when I go to my door, it's me, door opens. Right? Because that's the type of technology that they would have in their smart homes that they've invested huge amounts of money in.
Yeah. So it's a different kind of standard even.
Well, for them, it's use technology in a way that facilitates effortless living for me. But they still value the opportunity to have the human engagement where almost like it's that sort of exclusivity, the inside knowledge, the connectivity. So, we talk a lot about experiences in luxury.
Yeah.
They want you to be able to solve a problem for them. You just nailed it where you said they want you to make things happen that they can't ordinarily achieve themselves. If they message with an AI, they want the right answer and they want it quickly.
Yeah.
And they need to be able to trust that it's the right answer. And what they've asked for is going to happen. It's going to happen very quickly. But then they're going to consult a human when it comes to more complex needs.
Right.
I wonder, though, things like I'm wearing an Oura ring here, right?
Right.
So I've got a ton of personal data here. Do I want a hotelier to use that data to tell my mirror so that my mirror then can look at me and say, hey, Kristie, you're looking a bit dehydrated today, and you probably need a vitamin B shot, right? Just as an example.
Yeah.
That's the type of information I think would be helpful to an individual like that. But then they're going to consult with the human for the final stage, if that makes sense.
It does. It does make sense. Like that added layer of luxury provided by tech that other travelers might not anticipate. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I absolutely echo what Kristie said when it comes to the ultra high net worth, wanting that level of being discreet and relying on technology, but doing so in a private and discreet way. I think what our clients are really looking for is they primarily want to do things themselves, unless, of course, it's like a milestone trip, like a honeymoon or safari in Africa. They want more of an itinerary planned and handheld and white glove service throughout the planning process. But I would say on top of that, I think for the most part, they want to do it themselves. But they want the reassurance to know that if there is an issue, they have a real human who has real expertise in the industry and real connections to help them with any emergencies or urgent issues.
I mean, ultimately, it's about choice, isn't it?
Right.
You have to give the individual choice. And I look at my kids. I have 2 teenagers.
Yeah.
They want to do a lot of things for themselves, but it's amazing how many things that they don't want to do for themselves. They want to outsource that. And many kids have grown up with outsourced lives.
Yeah.
So there's almost like we've got this a continuum where people go from one extreme to the other at a given point in time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any one good answer. I think as a provider, you have to be ready to work in both places and everything in between.
That's interesting. So it sounds like it's a really delicate balance between tech and
100%.
human. So we've touched on this a little bit, but I want to go a little deeper. When you think about AI use cases in luxury travel, we've talked about how it can make things easier, but what are the most prominent use cases? What has it been most useful for so far that you've seen?
I think there's 2 different ways to look at it, right? There's direct to consumer, and then there's advisors leveraging AI to be better at their jobs. In terms of direct to consumer, I think itinerary planning has gotten quite good. I think that recommendations and targeted questions have become really good in AI. I think it's a growing niche to be able to like book directly through like a Perplexity or a ChatGPT or an Anthropic. It's growing. I think that still needs some time for people to really have the trust to put their credit cards in and to complete a booking through AI. For now, I think that they're still more comfortable doing that directly or through OTAs or through a travel advisor. So for now, I think it's planning, but I think in the future, the opportunities are endless as long as, I think you said it really well, there's a really delicate balance between the personal touch and technology, and I think that's always going to be something that in the luxury space is going to be a challenge to balance, but it's going to be paramount.
Okay.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, on the hospitality side, there's a lot of workflows that still have to change for us to really be able to embody and leverage AI to its fullest capability. But I think where I would say the immediate use cases are and are already providing gains is in the contact center environments. Hotels get large numbers of texts, they get large numbers of emails, and they still get many phone calls today. So being able to take the AI and leverage that for call containment or contact containment and still provide the same level of service, if not better, everybody wins.
Yeah.
We know that labor costs have been spiraling in the industry. So that's one area of prime focus. And a lot of the solutions so far have been back of house.
Okay.
And may not make these discussions
Yeah.
because frankly a lot of people can't see them.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't have people calling up for a copy of their folio anime.
Yeah.
The PBX doesn't need to be staffed by humans. It should be an AI concierge that's able to immediately recognize they've just stayed 2 weeks ago, retrieve that folio, send it to them automatically and move on.
Yeah, that's
So,
interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of one area. The other is really in areas such as sustainability and consumption of utilities, other big area of expense for hotels.
Yeah.
So if the AI can apply some type of logic to energy consumption and even work with the energy providers, so agent to agent,
Right.
managing for consumption and unit pricing decisions in real time, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
So I think the direct to consumer is probably the harder piece, actually, because to do that well, we need to make sure that we've got really, really good content for the LLMs to learn with.
Okay. Yeah.
And if anything, it's going to kind of push, and this is an interesting one, but I think discipline-wise, I think marketing's going to have its moment.
Interesting.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because somebody has to keep that clean and somebody has to police it and somebody has to grow that information.
Yeah.
Because again, the LLM is only as good as the information it's working with.
Right. So taking a different spin on the marketing bit a little bit, how does social media play into luxury travel? In an area that I assume exclusivity is kind of a currency, where does social media play in? Because you're showing so much luxury to so many people that it might feel more accessible, which is aspirational, but is that something that's, I don't know, I'm very curious about the relationship between exclusivity, wide sharing, and luxury travel.
I think it's absolutely huge, and it's growing, even with how quickly AI is evolving and how quickly people are using that as the top of funnel. Still over 60% of luxury hotel bookings are starting with social, right? So they're being inspired by people that, either people in their networks, their friends and their family, or people that are aspirational that they follow. It's become a huge source, mostly video, of driving toward where people should stay. And that's why I think it's increasingly important for brands to have that kind of sense of storytelling and sense of, aspiration, and how you basically discover, like, this is how people are discovering where to stay and where they want to go and what they want to do. So it's just becoming increasingly important, even with AI.
Yeah, and it's not taking away from exclusivity, you don't think?
Tell me more what you mean by exclusivity.
Like you've mentioned different bands of luxury travelers, right? And please feel free to jump in, Kristie, when you're ready. But if someone is ultra high net worth and they want an experience that no one else can have, and something's being splashed all over social media, is that of interest to them still, or do they want something else entirely?
I would say that there is a component of media out there that is incredibly aspirational.
Yeah.
And most of us look at it and go, wow, that's amazing,
a dream.
Insane.
Yeah.
We would never be able to do that,
Yeah.
for example. But to ultra high net worth individual, it's going to absolutely spark interest.
Okay.
Then it's going to lead into a conversation. And I've spent some time working with a small wealth management company recently who advise ultra high net worth individuals. So I've been curious to understand, how do they make their decisions?
Yeah.
Who are they consulting? What is the booking journey, and then the distribution piece behind that? And what we found was they were using social to learn, to educate themselves.
Okay. So
on
just
these
like
very
everyone
unusual
else.
destinations, these very once in a lifetime experiences. And that then led to a conversation with their trusted network.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was one route. The other route is they have conversations in their private membership groups and their trusted networks that then leads them to go and seek out content. And they are
Interesting.
seeking that out and looking for that on social channels. So the question is, are they reactive or proactive?
Interesting.
And I think you have to cater again to both of those scenarios.
Yeah.
The transaction is not necessarily going to happen through social.
Yeah.
Because that starts the journey, and then the very closed group of trusted family members, advisors, members will take them the next step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. And as we wrap up here, what are your thoughts on the 2026 luxury travel market in the future, both of you?
I'm biased, but I'm pretty bullish on it. I think that it's consistently been outperforming and outpacing the leisure market in general overall. I think that even with all the macroeconomic uncertainty, it's been continuing to kind of outpace non-luxury travel. So I do think that it's going to continue to grow. I think there's a massive amount of supply, meaning new hotels that are popping up around the world, and the development pipeline's at an all-time high for the next 10 years.
Wow.
So I think there's going to be a little bit of friction over the next several years, because demand will still be growing, but not at the pace of supply. So I think there's going to be a lot of vacancies and a lot of occupancy issues at luxury hotels. Probably not next year, but in the next 5 years, I would guess.
Interesting. Yeah.
I feel very confident about the luxury segment. Who doesn't want a luxury experience or a luxury stay,
It's
or
true.
to travel in business class or first class? And many people aspire to that, from this high through life.
Yeah.
And we're seeing people spend their money in different ways now. We've been talking about experience economy for 15 years? And we're now at a place, I think, where the younger audience care less about the sort of the physical elements of life, and let's face it, we can't take it with us when we die. And they are making those investments and choosing luxury products and services and experiences, and so it bodes very, very well, I think, for that part of the industry. I just hope that the industry continues to innovate, and that we really push ourselves for greater collaboration with other lifestyle luxury brands. And bring
That's
more
why we're
surprises
here, right?
and delights.
So
That's
hopefully,
right. Yeah.
Phocuswright.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot to look forward to. So thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you so
Morgan.
much for having us.